Hey, this is Mike of Black Cat Amplification, and I've got a VOX AC15 boutique build that's for sale. So this is a demo video of this amp. This is in a really cool find. This is a 1930s Philco farm radio. They called them farm radios because I guess they'd use them on farms because they could be powered by batteries, and the battery packs on these things were huge. It was almost like a motorcycle-sized battery pack. Sometimes they ran on 2 battery packs. This one I'm not sure exactly what the size was of the batteries, but this was a cabinet that I found doing a little picking, right? So it didn't have a radio in it, but I did have to restore it because it was quite dirty and quite old looking. So I've got the wood looking amazing. I've got the original speaker grill cloth looking great. There was a plastic front view here, and the plastic was just so far gone. I tried cleaning it and buffing it to get the scratches and stuff out. It just looks so much better without it, right? Because what I have in here is an old 5U4 radio rectifier tube, right? So the radio rectifier tube is not in the VOX circuit. This is here for aesthetics, and I don't know if you'll see it on this video, but you may have seen it in some photographs that I took. I've got 2 LEDs, a green and a sort of purplish color LED that's actually drilled into this tube to be the pilot light for the amp. So, you know, you kind of have this window where when you switch the amp on, you'll see, I don't know if you could see in this lighting, but when I switch it on, the lights come on and it makes the tube glow. So the tube is actually intact and the glass is not broken. I was able to drill the holes without breaking anything, which is cool. So it looks good because when you break a tube, usually they turn white inside and once the vacuum seal breaks. So that's for aesthetics. And the rest is you know, EL34s in the power section, and you've got a series of 12AX7s. It's a great sounding amp. It's just awesome, and it fit perfect with this. Now, this radio cabinet did come with a speaker, and it was about a 6-inch speaker. But it really wasn't enough to handle what this amp can put out, because this is definitely a pretty loud amp. So what I did was I had a bunch of different speakers and I tried to fit a 10-inch, but it just wasn't working in here with everything going on. So the biggest I could go was 8-inch, and this is a Celestion 8-inch speaker. It's a 15-watt max, so this is about a 10 to 15-watt amp, and it's perfect for it. It just sounds great, so you'll get a little bit of that speaker breakup when you really crank the amp as well. So it's a great amp. It's got 2 channels with 2 separate inputs per channel, so it's got a bright channel and a normal channel, right? They call it top boost is their bright channel. And 2 separate volumes. So the volume knobs are here on the left, one for the one channel, one for the other. You've got your highs and your bass, you know, your treble, your bass, and your what's called a top cut control, which is really a control that sort of can filter out some of those high-end, super high-end frequencies. Some people call them the ice pick highs. But it's really great if you've got some dark sounding pickups. You can really clean up the treble on this and boost it way farther beyond most Fender amps in the treble spectrum. So it's a great balance of control and tone. I really love the amp. I love the 8-inch speaker. This is a nice heavy wood. It's not you know, super thick, but it is pretty darn sturdy. It's not made out of like thin particle board or anything. So it makes for a great acoustically sounding cabinet. It does have a back on it, which is the original back, which is basically just a wood board, and access to the controls in the back, so you can plug in speakers. It's got a 4, 8, and a 16 ohm tap, so you can do combinations of speaker cabinets. You could run 2 at a time if you wanted. You could run the internal speaker and an external cab, and set your speaker impedance accordingly. So it's got some pretty cool features. I did add another bonus to this, and I thought it would be really cool just because of how awesome it looks. If somebody had this in a basement or an entertainment area, living room, wherever in the house, I'd want to be able to play music on it. So I installed a Bluetooth module inside of this. So when you turn the amp on, Bluetooth comes on automatically, and if you've already paired your phone to it, which is very easy to do, you'll see when you turn the amp on the first time, there's the name of its Drock BT, I think. You'll see it come up on your phone, you connect to it, and anytime you turn this on, it should automatically connect to your phone if it's nearby. So it's very easy. And I did wire in the music to go through the normal channel. So I've got a switch in the back which will allow you to play through either channel and play along with your music. So you can use it as kind of a stereo, or you can use it as a practice amp in the sense that you can play along with your music. So it's really cool. It's a nice feature. I think it's great because I feel like people would get more use out of it if I could play music through it too, put it in a cool area. It's a great entertainment conversation piece, you know, for showing off different things. Plus you play your guitar through it, and of course it's an amazing sounding classic amplifier. So it is going through the normal channel. There's two separate volumes, which is great because if you plug into the top boost channel with your guitar, you'll be able to control separate volumes, one for the music, one for your guitar, so you can balance them out. The tone controls will affect both the music and your guitar, but I found that playing along with some of my music that I'd like to play with, actually, especially for just running the cleans on the guitar, I mean, it's awesome because it just feels like it balances out. All I got to do is set the volumes accordingly, and it sounds great. You know, whatever tone I like on my guitar sounds great with the music too. So it's not stereo speaker. You know, you don't have two speakers. You've only got one, so it's a mono stereo, but it does sound awesome. So I'll demo that in a little bit. And right now I'm plugged into the top boost channel. Another thing I wanted to do with this amp was I wanted it to have reverb, but this particular circuit is not designed with reverb. So I did a little bit of searching, and I've tried some different reverb pedals. I was looking for an affordable pedal that was rated really well, and I tried a couple different ones, and I came up with this one, and I'm selling this with the amp. It comes with it as part of it because it is so cheap, but sounds so good. So it's a company called Azor, and they make this just little tiny reverb pedal. It's a brown color. I don't know if you can see it over here. I don't have a long enough cable right now. But it's plugged in, turned on, and it's got some awesome sort of classic vintage slapback sort of sound, right? So it's a little springy sounding. And you can adjust it. So I feel like I don't need a whole lot of setting on this, just a tiny bit of each. It's got a mix and a dwell, so I'm going to turn the mix on half and the dwell on half. Even that is quite a lot of reverb, but it just sounds very good. It sounds like a spring reverb, like an actual spring unit to me. I can't tell that it's a digital pedal, you know. All the way up on both settings is way too much for me, but it is kind of cool if you like weird effects. So it's kind of got that echoey slapback sound to it. I love it just around 2 or 3, but I feel like it complements this circuit, this amp well. You get you get reverb with the amp, and you get Bluetooth. So now you've really expanded what this amp can do. And without the reverb, to mention about the Bluetooth and playing music. Notice how I said it goes through the normal channel, not the bright channel. I did it that way on purpose because I found that most MP3 players, most phones, and music sounded way too tinty on the top boost channel, but the top boost channel to me sounds better for guitar than it does on the normal channel. So the normal just felt right to run the Bluetooth through that in case you're going to play music, right? But let's say you really do like the sound of the normal channel and you want to play your guitar through it and music. And I did allow for that. There's a switch on the back which allows you to say, I want to run guitar only, I want to run Bluetooth only, or I want to do both. Now, it's a little harder to control the volume. However, note you've got your guitar volume here, right? So you could set that. And you can also use your phone or your device that you're playing and turn the volume down on that or the volume up on that to adjust the two volumes. So it's very versatile. It's just that this volume here, which is the normal volume, is going to control the Bluetooth volume either way, right? If you plug your guitar into normal channel, you'll use the same volume, okay? If you plug into the top boost channel with your guitar, then you'll use this volume. So then you have the two separate volumes, one for music, one for guitar. But it is very versatile and cool, and if you wanted, you could plug your guitar into the reverb pedal, into the top boost channel, play your guitar with reverb, and then play your Bluetooth music on the other channel. So I'm going to demo the music in a little bit. Let's take a listen to what some of the tones we can get out of this thing. I've got the treble down to like 4, I put it on 6. Right? Treble can go way up, but for me it gets a little too tinty, especially with this guitar and the pickups. Top boost channel, and that channel is way more trebly than the normal channel, so I'll switch over to that in a second. So I'm going to leave this at halfway. The bass, no bass at all. Turn the bass about halfway. And all the way. And then this top boost, right? So the top boost, again, is working in even higher frequency ranges than the treble, right? So if I turn that way back, it still sounds great, you know. It's got enough treble here, halfway up. Back to halfway on the top boost. You can feel that almost like a presence sort of a thing where it's really pushing the highs up front. And then all the way up, which is really too tinky for me, but it sounds good. Even like that, it sounds pretty darn good. You can really get a lot of treble out of it. So if you have some bassy pickups, that's really tinty. Top boost, you know, about the same. Super chimey sounds. I mean, this amp is great. I'm so used to playing so many Fender amps and building Fender amps. This is my first Vox build. It's a very similar kind of a circuit, but just different tones. Things are just set up a little bit different, you know, in the tone area. So, I mean, it's just cool, man. It's got such a nice wide range of tone that you can really, you know, and definitely chimey too. You know, it feels a little bit like a Fender, but the mids are a little bit different. You know, it cuts through a little bit more. It doesn't feel as kind of bassy and boxy. You know, it's just got this super bright vibe to it. So super chimey. It sounds great with the Strat and the Jag. Without the reverb pedal, again, remember you get the reverb pedal with it if you buy it. That's why I'm demoing it with it. So let's plug into the normal channel. There's a high and a low on each channel. Obviously, it's kind of like an attenuation thing, so the low is going to be less volume, a little bit better for bedroom practicing. Maybe the high is going to be all in, right? So, okay, now I'm plugged into the normal channel, and again, this is the top boost channel, so this will really do nothing, and turn it all the way down. So you can hear the difference. Sorry, let me put on a same pickup I was using before mostly. So definitely not as bright. Okay, let's turn the highs up a little and the top cut up. Also feels midier too. It definitely has some more mids in this channel. The top boost channel feels just a tiny bit scooped compared to this channel. There's no mid control on the circuit. It's just how they were built, and they tried to, I guess, give you two channels with two different choices. If you want a more MIDI sound, a little tiny bit thicker and less bright, plug into the normal channel. So let's turn the highs all the way up and the top boost all the way up. it still doesn't feel nearly as bright as the other channel. Turn this back. Highs back. Okay, so gain on this amp. This amp definitely has some gain. I've got the amp cranked almost all the way up, just a tiny bit under all the way up. And the treble's up, the top, I'm still in the normal channel. Trebles and top boost all the way up. The bass is cut back a little bit. And I've got a hotter pickup, this bridge pickup on. So let's switch over to the top boost channel. Super crunchy, and if I give some more highs, it'll get even crunchier. Cranked all the way up. Awesome, that's so good. Alright, let's give it a little more bass. Again, this is just this little 8-inch Celestion speaker, and it just sounds awesome. I mean, if I plug it in through a 412 cabinet, it's going to really crank. I mean, you're going to be pushing so much more air, and you could probably play a show with this thing, man. Show you what this sounds like with a tube screamer in front of it when it's cranked this much, and you'll get quite a metal sound out of it. Might need to cut the highs back because my tube screamer is an Ibanez tube screamer, a classic one, and it really thins things out and pushes a lot of highs through. So let's cut the highs back. Woo, it's loud. Alright, here we go. And without it. All knobs on 10 on the top boost channel. Ooh, that's a little too tinty. Sorry. About cut the treble back a little. Okay, it's time to showcase the Bluetooth on this thing. I've got my iPad here. I've got a song set up by one of my favorite bands, a friend of mine's band. I'm hoping YouTube won't get me on copyright on this, but hopefully they won't. We'll see. So I've got the Bluetooth connected. There's no wires, no cords. It's just connected. As soon as I turn the amp on, I've already had this paired so it connects automatically. And let's start playing. This volume controls the volume of the music, and this one I'm plugged into the top cut. A little bit more reverb. Let's rock. iPad died. Ha! Let's cut that to the bloopers. I should have charged it beforehand, but you can kind of get the idea. You can play your music, play along with it. It's an awesome feature. Sorry about it cutting out. Thanks for watching.
Self-righteous pride in world evil doers. I'm a one-man solution. Get out of my way or stand by my side. I will topple insurrections, dispute regular